Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here I am back again wearing my Atlanta Braves hat for a reason. Ladies and gentlemen, you want controversial. This is a controversial week for sports in itself. And let me start with this. Let me start with this person. So here we go. Jen Powell. This is amazing. She is the first woman umpire in M.L.B. history. Everyone's ecstatic. Everyone's excited. Everyone thinks this is great. And for me, myself, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. And it is not like it's invading male sports or a woman invading sports. It's none of that. I just don't understand the need for it. I don't understand why there has to be someone of the opposite sex participating in an all-male sport. This is something that is pushed by the agenda to try to make people feel uncomfortable. And that's my point of view. This isn't really about her loving baseball. This is not about her saying, like, you guys, or the guys at MLB, you're being sexist and you're being obscene and unfair for us girls to get in MLB baseball. This isn't about that. This is about an avenue where there's not a professional women's sports. And I'm going to stick to this. Now, we did have a professional fast pitch league that recently closed down because it didn't get funded, enough money involved. But there is a source out there that the MLB is going to pick up a softball professional league, and then it can transgen to what the NBA is doing with the WNBA. However, I think this is kind of a situation for her. It's probably amazing. She probably like, look, everyone's going to know my name. Everyone's going to know who I am. And I'm always going to be in the history books. This is why she's doing this. She's not doing this because she thinks that women are being discriminated against outside MLB baseball. This is just solely so that people like me and people like you, and let's say you get the far left, who are going to say, yeah, about time we got women in the MLB. Who cares? I don't care. But I had to talk about it because as a person with a disability, I don't want to be treated special. I don't want to be that guy where they pass a rule in MLB where they have to have a disabled person in baseball or on a team. It'd be ridiculous to see me playing in Detroit Tigers uniform as a pitcher or an outfielder or whatever the position I'm at, just because they changed the rules of the game to allow a person with a disability or physical disability to be allowed in the game. And this is basically kind of the same thing. They're assuming that women are disabled and unable to do their job in other women's league, women's college softball World Series. They refuse to invest their money into women's professional fast pitch. You know why that is? Because there's no source for it. There's no one that wants it, that needs to watch women playing sports. There's no need for men to watch women in softball uniforms. And it sounds sexist, and maybe it is sexist. But I can tell you this, she is sorely doing this so that fact that she will be remembered forever in the history books. For 100, 200, 300 years from now, she'll be remembered for this. Now, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. If someone said to me that I can join the Detroit Tigers or the Detroit Lions or the Detroit Pistons team and make the roster just because I'm disabled, and they said, you know what? You'll be on that team. you'd be the first handicapped person playing basketball. Now you got to remember, Jim Abbott didn't have a left hand. He had maybe a thumb, and he threw a no hitter. And he's from the state of Michigan and went to Michigan University. All right, he pitched a no hitter at Yankee Stadium in 1996 or something like that. But that's what true history is. True history is breaking a record that's unbroken. She, being the first woman M.L.B. baseball player, is not a record to be broken. It's just a statement saying that she's here. And unfortunate for her, uh, people are going not care, and people are going to care too much, and people are just being annoyed. And I'm not annoyed by this. I just think it's intriguing to see this. I've always done it. I've always thought this is intriguing. So give me what you think. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if I'm just overstimulated with this dramatification of a woman umpire. Is this a good thing for MLB? I think they should concentrate on women's professional softball league so that she can be the first umpire at a World Series for fast pitch. That'd be much more of a historic story to have a women's league. You got to remember, the U.S. national women's soccer team doesn't need a transgender man on the team to make it amazing. They don't need to have a man pretending to be a girl to be on that national team. Those women who are playing the U.S. national team are amazing because they play real well. That's what's amazing about the U.S. national soccer team for women. That's why I watch it. That's why I would watch. I'm going to say this, and people are going to laugh at me and whatever. If I came down to a women's national soccer team over a male national soccer team in the United States, I would pick the women every time because they're better. They're more entertaining. They know how to play the game, regardless if we don't have the best athletes for our male national team. Why would I watch that? It's not fun to watch your own team lose, but it's fun to watch women from the U.S. national team soccer kick butt. That's what I'm saying with that. So prove me if I'm wrong that I'm sexist. Prove me that I'm wrong. I'm just being a jerk. Going to the second story. Here we go. Guess what? We got to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Minnesota Vikings is a professional NFL football team in the NFC North against my beloved Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell and Barry Sanders and Chris Spielman and Lomas Brown and Billy Sims. I'm just naming all the Detroit Lion greats, all right? And don't forget about Brett Premium and Johnny Morton and Herman Moore. Almost went to the NFC, almost went to the Super Bowl. Lost to the Washington Redskins that year. But here we go. So these two guys, I have no idea who their name is. And I should have looked them up, but I didn't. Because I think this is another case of people who are, and I'm not talking about these two people. I'm talking about the LGBTQ plus community trying to bring an equal statement to America about something that's not equal. Now, I get it. Minnesota is a second or the first largest gay community in the United States of America. I get it. What I don't get is that a lot of Europeans in the world don't understand why we have cheerleaders, female cheerleaders. And to be honest with you, the Detroit Lions have female cheerleaders. They really do. They finally have them within the last 3 or 5 years. But you know what? I don't even care about our women's cheerleading team because you know why? Because I'm busy watching football. I'm busy watching the Detroit Lions with Jamar Gibbs, with Montgomery, with Jared Goff, St. Brown, and Jamison Williams. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I'm watching. I'm not watching cheerleaders from the Detroit Lions. I'm just not watching it. There's a different avenue for what I want to watch. If I want to see a pretty girl or I want to see a girl that's beautiful, I would interact with her in real time, in real life. But if I'm going to watch a football game, I'm not going to watch the cheerleaders. Most of these guys, I will tell you two things. They're there for the cheerleader team, which I don't get that either. I have never had any of my friends tell me that they're going to a Detroit Lions game or the Detroit Pistons game to watch the cheerleaders. Never have. I've never heard that. Never in my life. That's just my community. That's my peeps, my people. So again, this is another way to push the agenda on people that don't care. This is something that I think if these two guys wanted to join a cheerleader team, they should join a professional cheerleader contest against other men who want to do the same thing. You know how they have cheerleading competitions on ESPN and from all the colleges and all this stuff? They should do the same thing for these guys. So the people, the community who watch cheerleading as a professional sport can watch these two guys. I think it's an insult to him. It's an insult just for the purpose of why you're doing it. You're not doing it because you need a male cheerleader on the football team. You're doing it to get ratings, to get feedback, to again, you're trying to elaborate something that's not there. So unfortunately for these two guys, I feel bad for them. I really do. And people say, why do you feel bad for them? Because they're kind of like a laughing stock. But we're not supposed to laugh about it because it's discrimination about it. That's really what this is about. Okay. So if these guys want to cheerleader, that's great. Do I think that they should be in the NFL? I don't know. I just know that when the NFL season starts and Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions are playing each other, I'm not going to give 2 cents about these two guys. And then my audience here is going to ask me, well, if you don't care about it, then why are you talking about it? Well, because it's an agenda push thing. I mean, it's just unpractical. As a person with a disability, I don't push people to recognize my disability. I don't make people notice me. I don't go up to people and say, hey, I'm physically disabled. You should treat me better. You should treat me special. That's something that most people with disability don't want. We don't want to be treated better. We don't want to be treated special. We want the same respect. So this is something that's, to me, this is why I'm kind of going after it. Because I think that this is just not in the right path. There you go. I said it. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But peace, love. This is the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Thank you for listening. Please come back again. I'm out of here. God bless.